This week on the Charger Bulletin News, Tuscany campus suspends operations. Amid the coronavirus rise in Italy, students and faculty in Prato are required to return to the U.S. USGA Spring 2020 elections. Voting is now open and will sit with candidate Sofia Martinez to learn more about her run. Centennial statue. Curious about the statue that will be placed by the Recreation Center? We have all the details. All this and more coming up at the Charger Bulletin News. Welcome to this week's edition of the Charger Bulletin News. I'm Julianne Brown. We start this week's show with news on our Tuscany campus. Last week, President Kaplan sent out an email recommending that students and faculty abroad return to the U.S. due to the spread of the coronavirus in Italy. 55 students returned while 20 decided to stay in Prato. However, yesterday, Kaplan stated that he has decided to temporarily close the Tuscany campus, now requiring everyone to return home due to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the U.S. State Department raising travel and health advisory levels in Italy to a level 3. Depending on how the conditions progress, students may have the option to return to Prato at the end of the spring break or continue the semester on the West Haven campus. If students wish to remain home, they may be able to continue their coursework online. Here's what two students who chose to travel back to the U.S. on February 28th have to say.
We were the first group that came back. We landed and the day of or the day after, Italy got declared level 3.
In my opinion, I'm kind of happy that they sent us home because at the end of the day, our health and safety is the most important thing.
We decided to self-quarantine together because we were roommates in Prato.
And the situation isn't totally bad because we're getting our housing options in West Haven.
No one can really predict what could happen, and same goes that it could just all blow over and whoever chooses to go back could go back, but at this time we just don't know what could happen.
Health issues have been making a huge impact globally. Here's how they have been a part of entertainment this week. On Sunday, the Disney Channel series Raven's Home aired an episode that covered the dangers of vaping. Raven-Symoné told CNN, quote, "Vaping is a massive issue within this generation, multiple generations. So when the writers said that they were about to tackle it, I was all for it." Disney Channel produced the episode to not only spread awareness of peer pressure, but also to make it known to parents that vaping is an issue in this generation. Bands BTS and Green Day have canceled concerts due to coronavirus concerns. Green Day tweeted Thursday night, "We have unfortunately made the difficult decision to postpone our upcoming shows in Asia due to the health and travel concerns with coronavirus. We know it sucks, as we are looking forward to seeing you all, but hold on to your tickets. We'll be announcing the new dates very soon." As for BTS, in the midst of promoting their new album, Map of Soul 7, they announced Friday morning the cancellation of concerts in Seoul. The shows were scheduled for April with more than 200,000 people in attendance. BTS said there will be full refunds to those who purchased the tickets. That's all for entertainment this week. Here's Joe Klaus with sports.
Thanks, Nicole. It was quite the week for Chargers athletics. The women's basketball team traveled to St. Anselm's College yesterday for Northeast 10 quarterfinal action. It was a tough game that the Chargers sadly came up short in, losing 55-44. Cameron DeBose led the way with 17 points. The Chargers finished the year 18-9 overall and 12-7 in the Northeast 10. After a successful year, the Chargers will look to continue the success into next season as they return all but 2 of their players. On the men's side, after a thrilling double overtime win over Bentley Friday, men's basketball took that momentum into Sunday's matchup with Lemoyne in the Northeast 10 quarterfinal. The game was a nail-biter that the Chargers came out on top in, winning 75-73. Kayshawn Lane and Elijah Bailey led all players with 16 points. The Chargers now take on Stonehill Wednesday night in the semifinals. During the regular season, New Haven beat Stonehill in overtime 85-83. You can tune in to the Chargers Sports Network and support the team. It's going to be a good one. Baseball is going to have to wait a bit longer for their home opener. Mother Nature had other ideas this past Friday and forced the cancellation of their doubleheader action against St. Thomas Aquinas. The team now travels down to North Carolina to play 4 games, starting with doubleheader action on Friday. Women's lacrosse won in convincing fashion when they beat Holy Family 22-4. The 13th ranked Chargers totaled 41 shots, with 34 of them on net. Julia Jett and Caroline Maher led the way with 4 goals and 3 assists each. The Chargers will host New York Tech Saturday at 1 p.m. at Kathy Zolad Stadium, so pop out and support the team if you can. That's all we have this week in sports. I'm Joe Claus. Back to you, Julianne.
If you've been wondering what is being built by the Recreation Center, look no further. After sitting down with the Vice President of Facilities, Lou Anino, we have learned that it's a statue of an authentic Charger. Anino shared that the decision was made at the request of students from USGA and the Alumni Association, who believed the campus was in need of a traditional piece. Both organizations helped commission the statue.
Choosing the horse was a given. We are the Chargers. The Charger is a horse. This piece to me represents what unites all of us as people related to the University of New Haven, alums, students, prospective students, staff, faculty. It represents the spirit of this university, and each one of us have a part of that.
The horse is sculpted in bronze by Robert Shore from Skylight Studios, who also created the university's seal located in the Maxi Quad. The sculpture will be unveiled in a ceremony on April 3rd. Voting for the USGA spring elections opened on Friday. We now turn to Nicole Rivera as she sits down with one of the candidates.
Thanks, Julianne. Here with me now is candidate for USGA President Sofia Martinez. Sofia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nicole, for having me.
So why are you running for USGA President?
Okay, so I'm running for USGA President just for like a couple of reasons. I've said this before at the debates, and there's a debate tomorrow night, so please pop by. But qualifications get you in a room, they don't keep you in the room. And what I've seen through my time as a senator, my time as an RA, and just working with administrators, the Board of Governors, but like students themselves, is that we all notice the issues that we have, whether they be in our classroom or lack of engagement, or the fact that there's a divide between populations on our campus, whether it be like CELO and athletics. So we already know of what we have to solve. So me doing it from the sidelines, a lot of fun. But if I have the ability to help other people fix the problem, then why not do it? A little bit about like this tattoo, I don't know if you noticed it, but I got this a year and a half ago, and it just like boils down to like why I help people. It's supposed to show me like it's okay to reach out for help, but also to help other people and break the glass ceiling at the same time. My mother never told me that like I couldn't do something, so I kind of put it on an ink for a permanent reminder that like if I have the ability to do something, why not?
Right. So what is your platform?
Okay, so my platform goes in many directions, but the main overarching theme is the fact that USGA is for the undergraduate student population.
Right.
It's not just to regulate RSOs. So right now I see as a senator, our meetings or just like the way we approach things is always RSO geared. But I don't know if you remember taking the campus climate survey from last year. A lot of our campus has not ever attended a single event. So why is USGA taking all the student activity fees that every undergraduate student has to pay, and we're funneling them only into part of our population? So what I want to focus on is less RSO regulation and more student engagement. So the way we have to go about this, we have to figure it out from different scopes. The people who want to be in the room, we should find a way to get them in the room faster. It's really hard to get involved as a first-year student or get involved, period. So what I want to do is just kind of like get that ball rolling. So right now I have a couple students working on, it's almost like an app. It's like BuzzFeed meets Tinder. That usually grabs people's attention because they're like, why is she mentioning both of those right now? But we're combining both. That way students can take a personalized test, figure out like what their interests are, what their hobbies, their values, and then most importantly, what time they're available. And then in turn, it's going to be using Python language and then fitting 10 RSOs that you might be interested in. Plus, because I believe that you grow when you're uncomfortable, 5 RSOs that you might not have considered yourself to be a part of. This app/website prototype, I'm hoping we make into a more serious, legit thing. That way admissions can use it on tours. Any prospective students, instead of just having a Charger ambassador go, there's CELO upstairs, they have something more tangible to look at it. Incoming first-year students, the involvement fair happens so close to when we get on campus that most students are adjusting from their high school life to college life. Not every RSO can go to the involvement fair. And usually when you get this close to a table, you're peer pressured to sign in for another email that you're not going to read anyway. So understanding that that is a flaw that we have and just going through it. At the same time, I'm an RA in Sheffield Hall. I see a lot of my residents who want to get involved, but they think it's too late or they don't know where to even look. So giving them the opportunity where they could take something between their homework or in between their TikToks, because we have to be real, hopefully they can get more people who want to have those interests and want to have those hobbies inside the room. And then we have to acknowledge that some people don't want to be involved. That's a reality of it.
Yeah.
But how can we still help them? Because they're already paying that student activity fee. What can we do to help them? Not every student is a resident. Not every student is a commuter. Not all of them are involved or in athletics. But logically, just by the way it works, every student is a student. So how can we help them in their academics and how can we help them in their classrooms? I've seen a lot from this last year, but also students coming up to me and approaching me because I help just channel the interests of the LGBT plus community as a senator for Undergraduate Student Government Association. And I've seen a lot of incidents happening in a classroom. We see that in the campus climate survey again. I've literally taken all the information I can from that survey so we can start implementing it. And the fact that students don't know how to communicate with students, but also professors don't know how to communicate with students. How often have we been in a classroom where they don't know how to facilitate a conflict or like the conversation just goes in the wrong way? It's an election year. If we don't know how to facilitate those conflicts, then we're going to have a very, very chaotic classroom energy. And at the same time, if they don't know how to be inclusive of their language and inclusive of their dialogue, then we're making some students uncomfortable in a space where they should be learning. So we have diversity peer educators, we have wellness peer educators, we have so many students who literally make it their passion, their goal, and their drive to help educate anyone who's willing to be educated.
Right.
So why don't we start training the people who are educating us to make sure every student gets impacted by USGA in a positive light.
Right.
So those are a couple ideas. I could literally talk about tangents with it,
Right. Yeah.
but it's just bridging the gap between students who are not involved, who are just students who want to be in RSOs, athletic students. We're turning into a D1 university with our football team playing D1 schools starting next fall. So what can we do to help them? Because right now, there's such a divide between what we regard CELO leadership and athletic leadership. They're still both leadership at the end of the day, and these are still our undergraduate students. So how do we start supporting them and have them come educate themselves? Because they're, once again, logically, they are students.
Right.
So what can we do to help them, and in turn, what can they do for us?
Right. So what do you hope to accomplish if elected?
I just hope to just direct USGA in a different light. I'm not asking to put up a bunch of bills or constitutions. Like, it's nothing crazy. We've gotten a lot of change from last year. Well, I guess this fall, with the point system changing, with the budget changing, and just like things altering. I want the dust to settle on that and figure out how we're going to react to it. But I want our perspective to change. And I see, like, as an RA, perspective is everything. How you look at something. If someone comes to you with a problem, are you complaining about it in the side? Or are you thinking to yourself, like, I am grateful to be in this position where I have the resources to help this person and they're comfortable enough to approach me. So changing the perspective of how we handle USGA and how they see us, we have to understand, most people think of USGA as the thing that's regulating us. I want it something where people are just like, yes, this is my voice, because that's what it is. We are the undergraduate voice. So if we're not listening to the voices and the ideas and the perspectives that they're giving us, what are we doing in the end? Because right now we've turned into just an overarching club where we make sure everything goes well. That's the job requirement, and I do this with everything. The USGA job requirement and the USGA president requirement is to make sure you have a diversity board, make sure that everything's going well within USGA. But I look at requirements as minimums. What else can we do to help our student body? We're here for 4 years, so what can we do to make your 4 years better? But also, what skills can we give you so for the rest of your life, you're always looking to help other people in your life? There are two things I live by, and I'd love for other people to live by. Treat yourself with respect, others, and your space, and leave what you found in better condition. So how can we teach that to fellow Chargers?
All right. So I'm going to have to cut it out there. Thank you for joining us, Sophia.
Thank you.
Voting is now open on Charger Connection until March 6th at noon. Back to you, Julianne.
This week on campus, we have a lot going on in the Alumni Lounge in Bartels Hall. Tomorrow, check out Centennial Speaker Series with Nikki Giovanni at 8 p.m. On Wednesday, Learn how to survive student debt with Women's Leadership Council from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Celebrate World Hijab Day on Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. Then, on Friday, head over to the Beckerman Recreation Center for some yoga from 10 to 11:45 a.m. Also, don't forget to vote for USGA spring elections. Polls close at 12 p.m. Finally, on Saturday, go support the women's lacrosse team in their game against New York Tech at 1 p.m. at Kathy Zolad Stadium. That's all we have for this week's show. Be sure to check out chargerbulletin.com for more and follow us on social media at Charger Bulletin. I'm Julianne Brown. Thank you for joining us.